Hello and welcome as we continue our journey through Matthew's Gospel. We are heading towards Pentecost Sunday, which is up here. We started quite a long time ago now. We are on day 80 today, I think, and we are continuing our journey through the four Gospels. Yep, day 80 out of 96 today. And it's this day here. We are beginning our journey across the top of the two arms of our cross. We have completed all of Lent, all of Holy Week. This is Eastertide going up the outside and round to the top of our cross. And we are we're at the furthest extremity on the left-hand side at the top of the arms, and we will come together and head towards Pentecost Sunday at the top just on June the 8th, not that far away, just 16 days away we are now, and we are on chapter 12 of Matthew's Gospel. So let's see what's been going on. We've got Jesus was speaking to the people about John the Baptist yesterday. Let's see what he has to say today. Seems like he's addressing some issues that people are bringing to him. Chapter 12 today. One Sabbath, Jesus and his disciples were walking through some wheat fields. His disciples were hungry and began picking and eating grains of wheat. Some Pharisees noticed this and said to Jesus, "Why are your disciples picking grain on the Sabbath? They're not supposed to do that." Jesus answered, "You surely must have read what David did when he and his followers were hungry. He went into the house of God, and then they ate the sacred loaves of bread that only priests are supposed to eat. Haven't you read the law of Moses that the priests are allowed to work in the temple on the Sabbath? But no one says that they are guilty of breaking the law of the Sabbath. I tell you that there is something here greater than the temple. Don't you know what the scriptures mean when they say, 'Instead of offering sacrifices to me, I want you to be merciful to others'? If you knew what this means, you would not condemn these innocent disciples of mine. So the Son of Man is Lord over the Sabbath." Jesus left and went into one of the Jewish meeting places, where there was a man whose hand was crippled. Some Pharisees wanted to accuse Jesus of doing something wrong, and they asked him, "Is it right to heal someone on the Sabbath?" Jesus answered, "If you had a sheep that fell into a ditch on the Sabbath, wouldn't you lift it out? People are worth more than sheep, and so it is right to do good on the Sabbath." Then Jesus told the man, "Hold out your hand." The man did, and it became as healthy as the other one. The Pharisees left and started making plans to kill Jesus. When Jesus found out what was happening, he left there and the large crowds followed him. He healed all of their sick, but warned them not to tell anyone about him. So God's promise came true, just as Isaiah the prophet had said, "Here is my chosen servant. I love him and he pleases me. I will give him my spirit, and he will bring justice to the nations. He won't shout or yell or call out in the streets. He won't break off a bent reed or put out a dying flame, but he will make sure that justice is done. All nations will place their hopes in him." Some people brought to Jesus a man who was blind and could not talk because he had a demon in him. Jesus cured the man, and then he was able to talk and to see. The crowds were so amazed that they asked, "Could Jesus be the son of David?" When the Pharisees heard this, they said, "He forces out demons by the power of Beelzebul, the ruler of the demons." Jesus knew what they were thinking, and he said to them, "Any kingdom where people fight against each other will end up ruined, and a town or family that fights will soon destroy itself. So if Satan fights against himself, how can his kingdom last? If I use the power of Beelzebul to cast out demons, whose power do your own followers use to force them out? Your followers are the ones who will judge you. But when I force out demons by the power of God's Spirit, it proves that God's kingdom has already come to you. How can anyone break into a strong man's house and steal his things unless he first ties up the strong man? Then he can take everything. If you are not on my side, you are against me. If you don't gather in the harvest with me, you scatter it. I tell you that any sinful thing you do or say can be forgiven. Even if you speak against the Son of Man, you can be forgiven. But if you speak against the Holy Spirit, you can never be forgiven, either in this life or in the life to come. A good tree produces only good fruit, and a bad tree produces bad fruit. You can tell what a tree is like by the fruit it produces. You are a bunch of evil snakes, so how can you say anything good? Your words show what is in your hearts. Good people bring good things out of their hearts, but evil people bring evil things out of their hearts. I promise you that on the day of judgment, everyone will have to account for every careless word they have spoken. On that day, they will be told that they are either innocent or guilty because of the things that they have said. Some Pharisees and teachers of the law of Moses said, "Teacher, we want you to show us a sign from heaven." But Jesus replied, "You want a sign because you are evil and won't believe. But the only sign you will get is the sign of the prophet Jonah. He was in the stomach of a big fish for 3 days and nights, just as the Son of Man will be deep in the earth for 3 days and nights. On the day of judgment, the people of Nineveh will stand there with you and condemn you. They turned to God when Jonah preached, and yet here is something far greater than Jonah. The Queen of the South will also stand there with you and condemn you. She traveled a long way to hear Solomon's wisdom, yet here is something much greater than Solomon. When an evil spirit leaves a person, it travels through the desert looking for a place to rest. But when the demon doesn't find a place, it says, "I'll go back to the home I left." When it gets there and finds the place empty, clean, and fixed up, it goes off and finds 7 other evil spirits even worse than itself. They all come and make their home there, and a person ends up in a worse shape than before. That's how it will be with you, evil people of today. While Jesus was still speaking to the crowds, his mother and brothers came and stood outside because they wanted to talk with him. Someone told Jesus, "Your mother and brothers are standing outside and want to talk with you." Jesus answered, "Who is my mother and who are my brothers?" Then he pointed to his disciples and said, "These are my mother and my brothers. Anyone who obeys my Father in heaven is my brother or sister or mother." That's chapter 12. It's fascinating, isn't it? I find it I have found it really fascinating. So in Matthew's Gospel, we had a great chunk of teaching near the beginning, and then we found a sort of a joyful, innocent time of healing where Jesus was just out and about healing the people, and the crowds came to him. There were a few people who kind of grumbled a bit, the few Pharisees and teachers of the law who were there, but not many. And then he sent out his disciples, and now he's teaching and healing again. But there almost seems to be something that people might call a bit more political in what he's saying. There's a lot more unrest that's being caused, and he certainly seems to be sort of courting that as well. He's not worried about what he's saying, and seems to be aware that what he's saying is causing more disruption in the people who are hearing it. It does sound like people are becoming a lot more alert to what he's saying and what it might mean for them. So we continue in this dynamic of Matthew's Gospel. Tomorrow we will join together. It will be Matthew chapter 13. Come and join me for that. I'll see you then. Have a good Friday. All the very best. God bless. Bye bye.